You're broke because that's how the healthcare system wants you to be. The system wants trained doctors so they can be cogs in the wheel for these big insurance companies and hospitals so they can squeeze out profit. They have no interest in your work life balance, whether you have freedom, your ideal lifestyle, or work life balance. And as a doctor, I get it. It's challenging because you have a reputation, you have prestige, you have a high salary, yet people don't feel bad for you. They think, oh, you're making six figures. It must be so easy for you. Despite facing these same challenges, I went from having a negative net worth at age 33 to eight-figure net worth at the age of 40 and retiring from medicine. I did this all the while working 80 hours a week as a cardiologist, still making time for my two kids and my wife. I hear the fact that people don't have time as a common excuse. And I'm saying that not because I'm judging, it's because I also used to feel the same way. We have been given a certain number of hours and most of the time it's filled up by work, and then you just come home and you're just wiped out, right? It's really deciding that there's more to your life than clocking in, clocking out. I would say having a vision, a dream, a goal, a strategy to where you're more than just a doctor. And being a doctor is the ultimate pinnacle for most people. I get it. But if you have aspirations of beyond that, or how to complement that with something else, that a passion, a business, an entrepreneurship, then you have what we call choice. A lot of people say that these are great ideas, these are great themes, but what the hell do I do Monday morning, right? So Monday morning is decide what else are you going to be besides being a doctor. And if you're going to be something more, like you want to be financially free, you want to have time freedom, you want to start a business, do you want to work part-time and be an owner, not an operator of your clinic? Decide. Once you get that clarity, then we start creating plans. The first thing is time optimization. We need to free up time. Most doctors are sitting on a cachet of 5, 10, 15 hours that are untapped. This is like gold. We need to go into the ground, dig for it, and release this free time. And so what I would do is a time audit. Assess where your time is being spent and then realize, hey, is this the right use of my time? Number two, buy back your time. Most doctors earn a certain six-figure salary, 200, 300, 400, 500, up to $1 million. If you know that, I would divide that salary by 2,000 and I would divide it again by 4. That ends up being your buyback rate. So if you're a GI doctor, you're making $500,000 a year, divided by 2,000, then divided by 4 again, it's $62.50 an hour. That is your buyback rate. So if you realize on your time audit that you're going and picking up takeout, that could have been done through DoorDash. If you mow your own grass, that's the neighbor's job next door, the neighbor's kids, you can support them. If you're washing dishes, you can add a house manager or a cleaner. All these things then free up your time because those are all less than your hourly rate, right? Your buyback rate, right? And then with that free time, you use it toward building that project, business, passion, pursuit. That's a tactical, tangible way to get started right now. There's multiple things I think a physician or a healthcare professional can pursue, but I've narrowed it down to 3 main categories that I think are good first steps for most doctors. One is to scale their current medical practice or clinic and really take it to the next level, and then eventually transition to where they're just not working in the clinic, but they're working on the clinic. And perhaps this is an asset that can be eventually sold. People can buy into it and you can have a liquidity event. That's really powerful. Number 2 is pursuing something like real estate. It provides tax advantages. People as a physician can do it part-time, and that they can really scale and use their connections, network as means of capital, and they can use their W-2 as ways to get attractive loans. This allows them to, again, create a second six-figure income and probably triple or quadruple their net worth. And the final way is a lot of doctors have ideas. They have entrepreneurship ideas. They have things and visions that they want to pursue. Maybe it's coaching, maybe it's consulting, maybe they have a product or service they want to release. And so then you can start working on that. The way to do that is learn some simple business principles and start exploring that. But the key is to sort of choose one of these pathways. So for many people, if they're not sure, I suggest probably a real estate route because it's a nice adjunct to being a physician. And if you look at the tax code in the United States, they want people to buy more real estate. That's why there's so many tax advantages to owning real estate. You're increasing the economy, you're creating generational wealth. There's a lot of reasons. So the simplest way is figure out the asset class. If you're not sure, start with a single family home or a duplex or a quad, right? That's a good way to get started. If you're a little bit more sophisticated, perhaps buying a short-term rental, also known as Airbnbs, right? That's a good way. And there's something called a 100-hour loophole, STR loophole, that allows you to essentially become a professional real estate person and take something called bonus depreciation and write that off your active income, which is normally challenging to do. And the final way is perhaps you want to start getting into something like multifamily, which are like, 10 units and above, and doing this. And I know all of this sounds so crazy and new and unclear for most doctors. The same was true for your current profession. As a urologist, you know a lot, but when you're a medical student, you knew nothing about urology, right? Similar, if you're a plastic surgeon, you know all the nuances of doing a facelift, but again, when you're a resident, you're probably just getting started. So every skill set can be learned. And the key is to find someone who's already doing what you're doing and emulate, right? I really believe in the 3I methodology. Imitate, right? That's the first step. Find someone who's doing what you want to do, copy. Next is iterate. Do it enough times and enough reps that you actually get nuances and distinctions and you make slightly improvements upon the previous process. And then finally, you do enough of those where you finally, the third I is innovate, right? Imitate, iterate, innovate. And so now you're essentially created your own way of doing things. This is a good way to learn anything and apply that to your life. A lot of people think it takes 5 years, 10 years, 15 years to do these things. But I've seen people go from no knowledge of real estate in year one to by the end of year two, they're buying $2 to $3 million worth of real estate a year. So that's how quick things can turn around. There's hard to find one right coach for everybody. The key really is first you want to learn, right? So learn the field. And the cheapest way is, books, YouTube, courses, podcasts, right? You listen to it. Then you start asking people, hey, who do you know who's doing this, at a large level? Or who do you know who's doing this that's taught other people? And you don't want to ask the coach. You want to ask the people that they've taught. Hey, did you learn? Did you get success? How did it work, right? So going one level below and looking for the people that they've actually impacted, that might be the best way to get the veracity of what's going on. Some people say that, hey, I'd rather be certain. I'd rather be safe. In fact, doctors are wired for certainty. If we take too many risks, our patients can die. And so in medicine, you're rewarded for certainty and safety. But in entrepreneurship, certainty and safety are businesses that go under. You need to innovate. You need to grow. You need to expand. You need to run experiments. And people call failures, but in reality, they're just experiments that didn't work out. But you learned a lot from each experiment and you keep moving forward. I would say if you don't disrupt yourself, you will be disrupted. As of this recording, Johns Hopkins is laying off 2,000 people. The safest jobs in the world, including government jobs, are being disrupted. Private equity is coming in en masse to healthcare and firing doctors. Medicare reimbursements are getting cut 3 to 5% per year. If you stay the same, it's not very safe at all. And so learning to take control, I think, is actually a safer route. Learning to have some means of income outside of your main profession is actually diversification. It's probably healthy. And so I think by learning other 6 and 7 figure skill sets, you actually make yourself much more profitable and much more valuable to the marketplace. My top 5 key recommendations for those who are ready to take back their time, take back control, and forge like a powerful path ahead that's in alignment with their vision, their beliefs, their values, and live life on their own terms. Because I really do believe that's what physicians want and that's what they deserve, honestly. We work too damn hard to be told what to do for the rest of our life. So what I suggest is 1, identify where your time is being spent and let's optimize it with a time audit and then reallocation of that time to highest and best uses using the buyback rate. Number 2, let's increase our income considering something called arbitrage. Arbitrage is going to the place where that pays you the most based on your skill sets. And so telemedicine and locums are ways where you can do your current job, but perhaps get paid an increase in multiple, or you get paid the same, but you work half the hours. And what this does is that creates openings for other things. Number 3, you want to start learning valuable skill sets. Whether that's entrepreneurship, whether that's business, whether that's mindset and self-development, whether that's real estate, right? Tax optimization, all these things, if you start learning them, these are valuable skill sets that will increase your income and your impact. And number 4 is surrounding yourself with like-minded folks. Typically, physicians gather around in the doctor's lounge and they crib and complain about why life sucks, why the government sucks, why the hospital sucks, why the administrators suck, why patients suck. That's not the group you want to be around. You want to be around like-minded, philosophically aligned people who are looking to make huge leaps in their income, their growth, and their impact. And you have to find those people. And then finally, perhaps getting coaching or mentoring or some type of guidance with someone who's already been there, done that. That way you can fast track and collapse time. It takes 10,000 hours to be successful. No one said it has to be your 10,000 hours. The first steps, as I was mentioning, are really time optimization and freeing up time. So I've actually created a special book. I took a year of my time to create a book that really walks doctors through how to construct and perfect their week. And so it's called The Perfect Week Formula for Doctors. It's a book that it's on Amazon, but I'm going to give you a free copy. The link is in the description below. Click on that and you'll get invited to take advantage of my free book opportunity. And look forward to support you on the journey.